Hello, welcome to Small Biz Catalyst. My name is Ayisat Abilogun. I am a certified entrepreneurship development professional and the executive director of Texas Entrepreneur Ecosystem. I've helped over 20,000 individuals through financial leadership courses, training, seminars, conferences. And now I work with cities to accelerate or jumpstart their entrepreneurship programs. This show is for struggling small business owners who want to be able to earn a 6 to 7 figure salary from their businesses, and the economic development professionals who support them. Every week, we delve into innovative strategies, success stories, and actionable insights to empower small businesses as catalysts for economic resilience. Let's jump in. Hi, everyone. This is SheInspires Symposium, which has become a podcast of a Texas Entrepreneur Ecosystem podcast in collaboration with Small Business Catalyst. And today we have none other than Bora Laci. And I can't wait for you to just hear the wisdom. Our theme for this year's symposium is Women Who Shape Our Communities. And Bora is one of those women who are making a difference in our communities. Bora, please take it away. Share with our audience a little bit about you so they can get a taste of you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I love being here. Thank you for reaching out and giving me this opportunity to be on this platform. So a little bit about myself. I'm a daughter of immigrants. Moved to the States when I was 3 years old. I went to SMU for my undergrad and MBA. My undergrad was corporate communications, and my MBA was in finance and strategy. I actually have spent around 12 years just more on the nonprofit, PR, communications world, and then shifted into consulting about 4 or 5 years now. It's about to be 5 years, really focusing more on the change management process side of helping organizations go deeper into kind of different realms of like, hey, process optimization, people, process, technology. But it has really helped just well advance with my background and kind of industry and shifting into consulting. And then just on the personal side, I'm very involved in different organizations, boards on campus, on just in the DFW community. So still stay very active to some organizations that are near dear to my heart. And I love to travel. So I'm always it's one of those things that I love doing, just exploring other cultures.
I love to travel, and I feel like I don't travel enough. So
Hard. I just
maybe,
we're gonna get you on the
maybe.
travel bug.
So, what's the most exciting place you've been?
So I love
One of
Morocco.
your adventures.
Yeah, I love Morocco. I went to Marrakesh and Casablanca. I love Marrakesh, like the culture, the food, like being in the souks. Like it was so just like so different because I was actually in Portugal, and one of my best friends and I were like, well, where do you want to go for like a few days? And we would have stayed in like Portugal area. We were in Lisbon, and I was like, well, we're right here. Africa's like right there. Like let's go to Morocco. And then we went to Morocco, and it was very, like, surreal because it's like, "Oh, how many times can you just be like, oh, let me just hop on a plane and let's go to Morocco?" But it was amazing.
Oh,
We had such a wonderful time, just, like, the culture being embraced in it, and then, like, we actually stayed in a riad, so we didn't stay in a hotel, so we actually got, like, a pool experience, and it was just
whoa.
so great, and, like, we were in Marrakesh for about 3 days and Casablanca for about a day or 2.
That is so neat. Oh gosh, I love it. Okay, I've heard such great things about Morocco. I've never been, even though I grew up in Nigeria, originally from New York. So I'm a daughter of immigrants as well. Um, but I was born in the US, and but I spent my early years, my dad took us at a very young age to Nigeria. So I really cherish that experience. But I want you to just share your wisdom with the women who are listening and men. Um, your career, as you've kind of indicated, spans from private equity, energy, healthcare, and media. What has working across such diverse sector taught you about leadership, innovation, and adaptability?
Yeah, I love that question so much because I think having the privilege to work across different industries really taught me, you know, so much while like markets, technologies, business models all really change throughout, right? And that core
Yes.
leadership changes so much, and sometimes it stays consistent. Um, and every organization really is really trying to align on like three big pillars that I always say is to align people, initiatives, information, and also this kind of like execution of what a clear mission really is. For me, what I've noticed, like what changes from industry to industry, it really is just like pace and this complexity. I've worked in the private equity markets, and those you learn about like urgency, value creation. But in healthcare, you learn so much about like the importance of trust and that human impact. And then I've some other clients I've worked on media and storytelling. You learn really much how like that narrative shapes behavior and how that's so important. So for me, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned has really been like how to be adaptable. So many times as a consultant, I'll go in and it's like I could be on a project from anywhere from like 6 months to a year to 2 years. I can be on a quick little like workshop, and being adaptable to really understand what our clients' needs and wants are. And I really think of this so much of like strong leaders really are not the ones that have all those answers, right? I think we really clear on what leadership really means, but it's really those individuals who can quickly learn, who are very curious, who can really ask the questions that a lot of people won't ask because that learning piece is so important. And then I think for innovation, that really just comes from really the world is a rinse and repeat, but we copy like kind of like the best practices, and it really
Yes.
comes from understanding our principles deeply enough to really like apply them in different contexts. So they're really like there's so much that we can learn from like the past to like where we're going to the future, but it's so important to like stay present, and then how do we align those in different contexts.
So I love what you said, rinse and repeat best practices.
Mhm.
That
Yes.
I mean, I'm taking notes and I just like that clicked. So you you've helped organizations turn complexity into clarity in today's fast changing world. What do you think is the best challenge? Is the biggest challenges that leaders face when trying to drive meaningful transformation? Because
Mhm.
you talked about you know just the pillars of employee initiatives and things like that. So what are the biggest challenges that leaders face today when they're trying to drive meaningful transformation?
Yeah, I love this question. I think so many people focus that it's strategy. And
Hmm.
I'm really like consultant right now, I focus on like on strategy work. And so many times like I'll have people come up to me like, "Oh, our strategy is not great. Like we need help with our strategy." And I think um there's this great book that everyone should read. It's called Deep Dive because it talks about where strategic thinking and like the
Mm-hmm.
difference from like what strategic thinking really is from like the execution piece. But I think the biggest challenge really is alignment.
Hmm.
Most organizations don't fall because they lack like that strategy piece. They really
Yes.
fail because leaderships are not fully aligned on priorities, on initiatives, and that execution. Because everyone is working sometimes in silos. And it's like, how do you put everyone in a collaborative environment to understand what is everyone's like issues and how can we help solve certain issues that companies are going through? But in this environment that we are right now, companies just so much overwhelm themselves with like different initiatives, technologies, competing objectives. We're always looking at AI is booming. Like all these companies are just like, oh, we need another AI tool. We need another AI tool. And I'm just like, okay, that's great. But how does that actually align with like your mission and your vision and like the goals with everyone around you? So I think a lot of leaders really confuse motion with progress.
Hmm.
So they keep generating these like new initiatives, new decks, like new meetings. And sometimes they will put this as calling like a transformation. And it's like, oh, we're doing a transformation into our business. But I think personally, transformation really only works when leaders have clarity around like these like three main things: what truly matters in their organization, what does success looks like? I actually identify what success means, and what behaviors need to change. So, me being part of like our change management strategy arm is really focused on like transformation is all about that emotional before the operational. And people sometimes
Mm.
miss that. So people understand it's not just what is changing, but how is this changing for everyone in your team? Like why does it matter? Where they fit into this future vision, like where do they fit into this future vision? So I think a lot of times in the world we are now, a lot of leaders kind of like miss that human side of change because
Yes.
that sometimes creates like resistance, even when, a strategy really itself is correct. But people just want to be like, we got to go, 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 keep up with the markets. And then they just really miss like, what actually are we doing? Like, what is our alignment?
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that because a few weeks ago I interviewed Katie Milty Jordan, who I call the queen of AI.
Mhm.
Um, and our view into AI is train the people. Like the tools are the tools,
Yeah.
but the people are the ones who are going to direct the
Mhm.
tool. So,
Mhm.
and when you talk about strategy and what matters and what success means, and what needs to change, that was what came to my mind. Like
Mhm.
carrying your people along with the
Mhm.
progress that you're trying to make, because you still need the human piece
You do.
um,
Yeah.
to direct. I mean, there are a lot of things you can automate, but there are some things that you need the human brain to kind of direct. And I think that's
100%.
creativity. That's creativity
Mhm.
on the human side.
Mhm.
Hey there! If you're just joining us, this is Small Biz Catalyst. We would like to invite you into our Tag a Business team. Here's what you need to do: nominate a small business of your choice, tag them on our website at smallbizcatalyst.org. That's small, BIZCATALYST.org. Tell us your name, give us your email address, because that's how we'll be able to tell you if you're a winner or not. And then give us a website to a business of your choice. It could be your business or somebody else's. Once you've tagged a business, you'll be entered for a $25 drawing to a local business of your choice. We'll announce winners every month. And now, back to the show. My next question, like a lot of people associate entrepreneurship only with startups. But we know that
Mhm.
innovation happens inside of large organizations as well. How can women lead innovation effectively within established institutions and systems?
I love that. Um, Innovation really, like when you look inside a large organization, requires both of this influence and credibility. So you're
Mm.
always working with kind of like existing systems, initiatives, legacy thinking. So it really has to be built. Um, Really, the ability to build trust becomes essential because you're working at such a large organization. It's like entrepreneurship, you're working on it with a small group, but you're coming into an environment with so much has already been like set, the foundation has been set. So, how do you change that? How can you like empower other women to go and be like, I see this change, let's work on it. So, one thing I always encourage women really is to embrace this kind of like strategic entrepreneurship. Like, you don't always need the permission to innovate. And I feel like sometimes as women, we're like, oh, we want to do it. And then we need someone to give us, like the green light, but you really don't. Innovation really starts by solving kind of like this problem that someone has, but it's solved so effectively that the organization cannot really like ignore that value you create. So the most kind of like effective innovators in these institutions are those that can translate these like bold ideas into really this like operational language, if we want to say. They connect innovation to like all these like outcomes, customer impact, financial performance, organizational resilience. So it's really just like they find a way to tie it like a bow and be like, here's everything that I think would help solve and have the backup like facts and information. So you're not just, oh, I have this great idea. And people like, okay, great. We've tried it, didn't work. But you have say, yes, I know you tried it this way, but I think we should do it this way. So I think for a lot of women, often being in this like collaborative leadership style is so valuable in these like large systems. So like we think like innovation is really just like bringing back that human experience, bringing back that collective piece.
Yes,
So it really
absolutely.
comes down to like communication, the ability to bring like diverse stakeholders together around change. Like when we think about it so much, innovation comes from change. Like we all have an issue. How do we solve it? Um,
Yes.
really breaking that barrier. And it's really just going there. And I feel like if you have all your facts straight and you have the background information to say, I've talked, I've done the survey, I've talked to these groups, here's what their issues are, here's what we can say, then I feel like that is a way for women to really just like stand and like show themselves in large enterprises.
Wow, thank you. That was great. And so you are someone who operates on the intersection of strategy and execution. What advice would you give to a woman or to women who have strong ideas but struggle to move from vision to action?
Mm, okay. That one's really good. I met this organization a while back that had this like tagline where it's like start small but start somewhere. So I feel like so
Mm,
many times it starts smaller but also move faster. So
mm,
what that means is um, a lot of talented people wait until this vision feels perfect, right? Before taking action. But really, that momentum creates this like clarity that we're all looking for. So it's that execution is where that's really like refined strategy. So I always encourage individuals and to really like think in terms of like pilots, experiments. Like you don't have to solve this like whole problem right now. And we want to really just be like, "Oh, we have this great idea. We want to solve this issue at this moment." But you need
yes,
as in tying it back to, the previous question, it's really about you need to create evidence that your idea really works. So, when you're looking at it, you're asking yourself, like, "What problem are we solving? Oops, sorry. I was like, I just lost it for a little. What
no,
problem are
you're
we
good.
solving? What does success look like? Who really needs to be evolved? Because we have to think as ideas really gain this traction. Whoop, when they become tangible. So, like, it's really this, like, idea on this, like, how do we make this idea of something so tangible? So, it's, we wanna I think it's so important, like, for women when we're struggling, how do we get this vision to action? It's like, write everything down. Write, like, a 90-day, "What does this look like?" Like, "What can you build? What can you test?" Like, really think of life as just kind of like a theater. Like if you had to really create this, when you think about production, how does shows go on and movies like really make your life that way? That I feel like it's like you have to take that idea and then like strip it down to like the smallest thing that would approve just kind of like what you're working through.
Absolutely. But I could go on and on. I've got lots of questions for you. But we always have a question. We have a signature question on this podcast. And I can't wait to hear your response. What advice do you have for today's entrepreneur?
Oh, okay. I love this. I think the biggest thing I tell today's entrepreneurs is really focus less on appearing successful and becoming more useful.
Hmm.
I think so many
Focus
times
less on
less
appearing successful.
successful and more on becoming useful. Um, I think the biggest thing too is a lot of success is in silent movement. We're in a world where we see so many people posting on social media from LinkedIn and like it gets overwhelming, but it's so important to know that, like, the most successful people move in silent, and then you move in silent until that happens. So it's really thinking also bringing back that human experience of entrepreneurs who really create this, like, lasting impact, and those are
Yes.
the individuals who are obsessed with, like, solving real problems, um, consistently over, like, long periods of time. Like, a lot of things change, like, trends change, markets evolve, technology moves quickly, but that value creation is always there and it's, like, matters. So, I think it's really important to protect yourself from, like, this world that we are that's so noisy and there's so many just, like, intersections, but the entrepreneurs who really win, like, long term are the ones who can really just, like, simplify complexity and make things easy and focus on those, like, fundamentals and adapt their core vision. Because I work with clients all the time, and my biggest thing is, like, how do I take something that very dense and turn it into like business users and anyone in the world can understand. So I think it's so important. I'm like in this world of noisiness and so many jargons. How can you make it simple for everyone else to be like, I understand what your value prop is and I want to support you?
Bora, you are full of wisdom and
I love being on this.
I could talk to you all day. Oh my gosh, I love what you said. Focus less on appearing successful and move in becoming useful. And then you talk about simplicity and complexity. I want to continue this conversation. But again, I want to say thank you. Yes, we have to continue this. I want to say thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, and thank you for being a woman who impacts our community positively. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, would love to follow me on LinkedIn. It Bora Bralaci on LinkedIn. Socials is just Bora Laci. I was like, it's my introduce myself. I'm like, Bora, so you don't forget my name. Um,
That's so
and like
cool.
follow me on add me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect, answer questions, and continue this conversation as well.
Absolutely. We're going to put your LinkedIn link on the show notes. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. And thank you for what you do, not only for women, but entrepreneurs across the board and for the communities that you're changing. And I know you're changing communities one entrepreneur at a time. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having platforms like this where women can have their voices.